Hey, good morning, guys. Gabe Roberts here from Back to Nature Lifestyle Medicine, health coach, health entrepreneur, and today we're gonna go down the rabbit hole a little bit as I dive into this emerging world of quantum physics and how it applies to our clinic under some of the most advanced techniques out there, genetic enhancing. Okay. First, what is quantum physics? Quantum physics, according to Bruce Lipton, is nothing more than looking at the particle, not the physical particle, but the waves that are associated with it. You know, as you look down here, where organisms, these are made of organ systems, group of cells, and then there's atoms. To really understand quantum mechanics, you have to look at the waves around the atoms, and it's mostly space. This is very applicable to all the muscle testers out there. All the doctors that muscle test their clients, whether they use arms, whether they use heel changes, leg length changes to get biofeedback, whether they use resonators or rubbing other things. I know of practitioners that actually rub their belt. I know of people that actually rub their fingers together. That's kind of what I do. Okay, all of this essentially biofeedback mechanisms, and it all goes under the same quantum mechanics in the same quantum world that dowsing does. And if you're not familiar with dowsing, I imagine your grandparents are, because this is ancient wisdom that's now being kept from us. Dowsing was simply using a Y-shaped willow stick was preferable according to the dowsers that I know. They use willow sticks, they hold it in a certain way, and they walk, and then there's a forceful, almost grabbing of the energy down towards the ground, and that's how they can locate water. And this is still used today, but with more modern tools, such as copper and metal rods. They'll hold metal L-shaped rods in their hand, and as they walk, the rods actually will go in towards each other when they're looking for underground gas lines, electrical lines, or underground sources of water that are hidden. Okay, very, very accurate. This isn't voodoo. It's not witchcraft. It's not anything else. It's not the devil's work. It's simple quantum physics. And it makes sense why people don't understand this, because there's great efforts and billions of dollars spent keeping this from you. Why? It would bankrupt many of the industries that we're around and that are common in our GDP today. We're looking at 20% of our economy is linked to sick care. Lots of money out there keeping you sick. Stay tuned for more, especially when I talk about the heart, and you're going to see that plain as day. So back to this. How can we know this? Well, according to the journal Plant Signaling and Behavior, 2010, research reveals that plants can think, choose, and remember. They don't have the same defense mechanisms that animals do. They can't get up and run and escape when something starts to eat them. So they know for a fact now, this was on a show on PBS, Plant Behavior, okay? They know for a fact that when plants start to get eaten by animals, the plants can't move, so they send a quantum signal to all the nearby plants, even identical species. They instantly change the taste. So the animals don't even prefer to eat them anymore. It's a defense mechanism using quantum signaling. It's absolutely groundbreaking. It's always been out there. Okay, another discover of this. Plants have developed a sophisticated, highly responsive, and dynamic physiology, which includes information processing such as biological quantum computing. Right out of the Plant Signaling and Behavior Journal, 2010. Another startling finding, all entangled into this quantum physics world. Lynn McTaggart, The Field. This is 20-year-old information. You know, we are swarming with ignorance, and yet we have information at our fingertips. This book would blow your mind. This woman, skeptically, she's not a scientist, she's actually a journalist, and she's looking for evidence. And she skeptically goes into this, and they have groups of scientists set up very sophisticated lab equipment to measure water fluctuations, bean growth, and many other things in these sophisticated labs. This woman actually has her readers some several hundred miles away to several thousands of miles away send intentions with their thoughts. That's all they did. They sent intentions with their thoughts directed at these labs. They measured 30 different cycles, 26 substantial changes. That smashes any of the placebo. That smashes many of the medications as far as outcomes. 26 out of 30 substantial changes with people using their thoughts. How? It's the quantum world, and again, you can't look at the physical, you have to look at the waves, and we're all connected. Our waves interact. That's why certain people's mood can be affected by others. That's why women that share the same household actually will start to sync their periods. Why? Because their waves are interacting. This should make you be very, very cautious about who you spend your time with, because you will become like that person. Find someone of higher vibration if you are in that growth mindset. That's fundamental to do, and all the successful people will point that out. Again, why? It's not magic. It's not being biased. It's because the waves interact amongst each other. Now, back to Bruce Lipton. This gentleman has said that all the quantum physics world has to do with waves, and every cell has 1.4 volts. Okay? Every cell is a living battery. And it makes sense because all my new clients, I quickly demonstrate using simple little things how electric the body actually is. If you had your fingers in a plug-in and somebody else grabbed your hands, they would become part of that circuit too, because we're all batteries. Now collectively, this energy is called chi, and you can focus it for healing, you can focus it for getting through emotional turmoils, you can focus it for getting through hard times, you can focus it on maximizing your own immune system and your digestive system, okay? And my patients feel this collectively charge when they come in. Whenever I find a hot reflex, their arm drops because of the electrical pull. And I have SWAT team people wearing full police gear uniform. They tower over me, and I can simply drop their arm with one finger, and they say, I've never seen anything like this. Of course, it's Europe. It's really starting to come out, and it's hidden from us. Now in Europe, biological code programming systems. This is what's coming out of Europe. This is going to change everything. This is going to revolutionize all our industries we know of. They actually are able to change coffee beans. They're able to change cigarettes. They're using quantum mechanics to grow hemp twice as big with twice the content of CBD oil. How is this applied to the quantum world? A person buys a bag of coffee beans and they're all the same. Then they put a quantum chip on this, and whatever flavor that person wants that morning, whether they want hazelnut or they want something, a little creamier or something a little dark, they can send a quantum signal and it immediately changes that entire bean's content on demand. It's not voodoo, it's far thinking out there that we're not used to seeing here in America. And it goes even deeper. My wife is currently getting her doctorate at Quantum University. She's getting her doctorate at Quantum University. They understand all this, and they're light years ahead of all the other universities that I'm familiar with, because they're acknowledging how powerful these waves are and what you can do. Now, how we apply this to ourselves in our clinic? Most people that come in here have some kind of form of chronic pain. Our average client that comes in has been to 12 doctors, and they carry a whole lot of diagnosis and a lot of blood work, and they're still not healing. So after we find the physical ailments, whether it might be a stealth infection, chronic heavy metal burdens, chemicals, toxins, things like that, that's the real source of people's pain. Most shoulder pain and back pain is from foul gut health. It's not because their back's out of place. Maybe years ago that was the case, but today people are way too toxic. So what we do in this clinic, we understand these mechanisms and we fully grasp how things are interacting waves. So what our latest amazing technology is able to do is we can actually manipulate people's DNA and have negative splices to where they have a positive switch. This is great for people that have long-standing addictions to junk food, perhaps pornography, long-term addictions to harmful things, harmful behaviors, self-sabotaging characteristics. As we start to coach them, let their pain arise, this little switch here makes a big difference. The people that have had this done can actually get through their pain much easier. So it's absolutely incredible. And what I do is encourage you to keep an open mind, an open heart, and always keep your mind in a growth rate. That's otherwise you're not going to evolve the way we should as we're here on this planet together. So look into these Lynn McTaggart, The Field, listen to some Bruce Lipton. It's all coming out, guys, and it's going to change everything we know of. So I hope this helps for some of you that are interested in understanding how this works, and some people that wonder how we get rid of this chronic pain when nothing else has worked. It's all because we understand the fundamental little pieces, okay? So thanks for listening. To get back to your vibrant state of health, you have to get back to your nature. Love yourself. Thanks for listening.